and welcome to Control Alt Deplete. We are here today. I am your host, Mr. Buckblind, on the left side of your screen, and on the right we have our newcomer, the Mr. Qwertzx. Bioshock is no more. We kicked him off the show.
Fired him.
Yeah, controversial. He was very controversial. He's a Cowboys fan, so we just couldn't allow that. That came out, so I do apologize on behalf of everybody here at Control Alt Deplete. Cowboys fans are simply just not acceptable. So I do apologize for everyone who's offended, which, I mean, who wasn't offended? But so we have, replacing Mr. Bioshock, we have Mr. Qwertzx. How are you, Mr. Qwertzx? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I look like Bioshock, but I get that often,
Yeah, no, he looks very, very similar to Bioshock, but this guy's not a Cowboys fan, right?
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 This is yours right here,
oh
boys.
Gosh. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! We've made the same mistake again. Oh well, I guess that's the end of our pod. This will be the last podcast episode, everybody. Much apologies to everyone else out there who is, not a lame Cowboys fan. But anyway, yes, Mr. Qwertzx, how are you?
Good. Yeah.
Good.
Been a while.
It's only been last week. Yeah, we missed last week because I was not feeling it, and I'm still behind. Little behind the scenes note here. I still haven't uploaded the last 2 episodes, so
Is it even worth it to upload the next 2? Or the last 2?
Yeah, no, we'll get them. There's news and stuff that we covered, so we'll get them. I'll get them up here. I just gotta actually make myself do it instead of doing all my testing and sleeping.
Yeah.
We'll see. Anyway, but yeah, so let's see. World of Warcraft. What's been going on? This week's affixes, I don't know. It's like fortified and something, I think.
Yeah.
It's either fortified in something or tyrannical in something. That's how it works.
Yeah, 50-50 chance.
Yeah, exactly. It is fortified, entangling, and bolstering. Bolstering. So glad that's going away. Yeah. We're really winding down. They announced today the pre-patch date is going to be the 23rd of July, so a week and a half from now. We will be officially in the pre-patch. There are some pre-patch events going on. We should have a short little quest line. Takes like 5 minutes to do, very, very fast. But then there's like these little I don't know if they're invasions. There's a little event in the basement of Dalaran. You can queue up for it. You go to one of 3 different portals, do some stuff there. You get some currency, you get some rewards. So a little something to do. Haven't tested out a whole lot of it because I don't know if it's even active right now in beta. I think they've disabled it temporarily, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, what the rewards are, I'm not 100% sure. But no, what have you been up to in World of Warcraft? Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing.
As far as like playing, I haven't really done too much. I've been just like doing a lot of reading and watching other streams to kind of get an idea of like where classes are at in general in the beta. No, I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of waiting for tuning.
Yeah.
To kind of decide what I'm gonna play. I haven't got a general idea what I'm gonna play, but kind of comes down to tuning to see which one I'm gonna play first. It's like I haven't really. I just been keeping up with just the the tuning so far. Other than that, I've just been doing transmog runs mostly on retail.
Nice. So it's back to pre-patch. I've got it pulled up now. We do have, so with the pre-patch, we will get war bands will be occurring. So that'll begin. That's really cool looking. I do like the screen, having the 4 people up there at the camp. It looks cool.
Yeah.
We have Visions of Azeroth. So if you've completed the final chapter, you'll start that quest line. That's a short little quest line. You will have skywriting. Dragon riding will be called skywriting. You will have an ability to switch between skywriting or static flying, which is going to be called steady flight. Um, skywriting, the talents I know are going to be pruned a little bit, so there's certain things that'll be gone, but it all works the same way. We're going to have radiant echoes. Those are the little events that we can do. So you'll be able to go through different places and attack and do little invasion type stuffs. Looks like Dragon Blight, Dustwallow Marsh, and Searing Gorge. And the big currency is called Residual Memories. So once you get that currency, you can be able to spend that on a lot of different things.
I'm assuming it's going to be like gear,
yeah, it'll probably be
transmogs,
catch-up
pets,
gear. Yep, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there'll be like different stages for these Radiant Echoes. So there's stage 1. Players will need to defeat congealed memories that'll appear in the zone and the memories around it. Stage 2, defeat the Radiant Echoes causing havoc in the zone. There are 6 random events that are active within the zone that can be seen on the map. And event locations throughout the stages are marked by a multicolored globe. Stage 3, you'll be able to undertake a quest in each zone during the event that will ask for you to defeat one of the event bosses. So in Only Darkness, which is Dragon Blight, Remembered Lich King. Broken Masquerade is in Dustwallow March. That is Remember Onyxia. Champion of the Water Lords is in Searing Gorge, and that is the Remembered Fire Lord. Those are your bosses.
Cool.
Once the boss is defeated, stage 4 begins. The boss will no longer be available to kill for the quest completion until the event begins the zone again. Bosses can also rarely drop additional pieces of gear. And in stage 4, the Radiant Echoes have subsided. Players can choose to return to Dalaran or stay within the zone to slay lingering memories to continue accruing residual memories. A timer within the zone that the residual memories are active in will count down until the next zone event. Rewards, you've got let's see, it says there are, looks like some rings, maybe? Yeah, there's a new heirloom ring. So that's kind of nice, because that's something we're kind of missing. There will be gear at level 480 that you can get with some room for upgrades.
480, kind of low.
Yeah, it's a little low. I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit higher, but...
Yeah.
32 slot bag is going to be there. There's a Remembered Golden Griffin. That'll be 20,000 residual memories. That's a mount. A Remembered Wind Rider. That's another mount. There's a 30 slot reagent bag.
Nice.
There's 3 pets. The Remembered Spawn, Remembered Construct, and Remembered Riverpaw. There's a couple of necklaces, couple of rings, couple trinkets, 3 trinkets, 4 cloaks. And it looks like there's a piece of gear for each slot for each armor type. So definitely some transmog stuff to try to go after there.
Yeah.
Looks about it. There's like weapons as well. So yeah, a lot of transmog items. That will also be 480. So if you need 480 gear, it'll be good. If you already have it, you can get it for transmog.
Yeah.
But that'll start in a week and a half. So it'll last until August 26th.
Is that pre-patch as well?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. So the pre-patch is on the 23rd?
Yes, pre-patch 23rd. Okay, so the residual memory or the Radiant Echoes event starts on the 30th. So it'll be 1 week after pre-patch starts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pre-patch starts on the 23rd.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
that's cool.
And you will have until August 26th to continue getting those things. Which is when the official launch is. The early access is the 22nd, but the event will still be going on until the 26th, it looks like. So that is not too bad. Not too bad. You got almost a full month of that to get stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So yeah, what are your thoughts so far in the beta and everything from what you've been testing?
Blizzard just has some favorite classes right now. It's really frustrating. It's just survival hunters, arcane mages, and fairy warriors mostly. I think right now. Um, that's not like I said before. I think I said it last podcast. It's not terrible 'cause those like the overpowered classes. Because like if you're looking at other classes that maybe aren't getting played as much, they're still doing fine DPS.
Right.
Like I think every class is doing fine DPS besides rogues.
I don't think Rogue is necessarily the bottom though. You guys are like
I mean,
middle of the pack.
not in Mythic Plus. In rating, subtlety is pretty good, yeah. But as far as Mythic Plus, I think Outlaw and Assassination. No, that's Outlaw. Outlaw's a little bit better. Assassination and subtlety are pretty garbage for Mythic Plus. Um, what are the some of the classes that are pretty struggling a little bit? I think Shadow Priest can be okay. Yeah, I think our Fury is really strong right now. Arcane did get nerfed a little bit. It's still very good. Survival had some changes to like some talents, just like fixing them up a little bit. But that wasn't really an overall nerf, so they're doing pretty good still.
Yeah.
Some classes I'm kind of keeping an eye on that I think could be potentially fun to play was Marksman Hunter is one of them because I think like I wouldn't say they're overpowered, but they're not bad either. They're pretty good, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
right now I'm looking at the Icy Veins tier list, which, whatever a tier list means, which is very much nothing.
yeah,
Um, you've got Arcane and Fire Mage at the top two, which Arcane Mage they have listed as being broken.
yeah.
Um, Augmentation is very
You want to
strong.
send me
It's
this?
third. Yes.
Oh yeah. That being said, while you're sending that,
Yeah.
Devastation Evoker is still pretty good as well.
So they have it
I
listed dead last, but it says need more testing on it.
Yeah, there's a couple of builds you can run. I mean, the hero talents are very different playstyles from Scale Commander to Flame Shaper. I was testing a little bit of my Evoker. It's running the Firestorm spec is actually pretty cool, and I think it's decent.
Yeah.
I
Now,
do think Augmentation's just so miles ahead still, though. It
now
does more
here's
damage and buff still.
here's the big reveal for you. And granted, this is just a tier list, so you gotta always
Send
take
it
the
to me.
tier list with a big grain of salt. Yeah, I'm getting ready to send it to you. They have both Assassination Rogue and Sub Rogue for Mythic Plus right there with Fury Warrior.
That's a joke. I don't. I mean, I've been watching like really top tier rogues this last like I don't know 4 or 5 days, and they have nothing positive to say. So it's like I
So
mean,
they've
it's
got
not
Fury
just
Warrior at
me.
10th, they've got Assassination at 11th, and Sub at 12th.
And Outlaws at 24th. I feel like Assassination is worse than
Now,
Dev Evoker.
here's the other thing. You're testing with the tier set, right?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure if they had the tier set on theirs. Not, I assume they would, but
Yeah, they do.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, they said they believe. So Assassination, I think it's saying that. Okay, yeah. So Assassination, exactly what we've talked about for the longest time. Assassination, they believe, will perform very well in high-level keys where the mobs live longer, while continuing to only have moderate damage in lower-level keys where they are mostly outperformed by classes with better front-load damage.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
it's
obvious. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, Assassination is probably in a decent spot. It's just that you won't look very good when you're still gearing up and stuff
Well,
once
yeah,
you're
I
doing higher
noticed.
keys.
Well, the rogues I was watching were doing tens and higher in the beta, which is pretty high for the gear you have. And um, I don't know. The list I saw for rogues, they said Outlaw was better than Subtlety and Assassination. I don't agree. I don't know if I agree with that. I just don't think. I think Outlaw's not very great. Oh, Subtlety is supposed to be pretty good for rating. Like single target, I thought its damage was pretty good. It's. I think when I was looking at the DPS meters, like it shows you like top damage like reached in like their burst, and Subtlety was like neck and neck with Arcane Mages for like their burst DPS.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
that's what
good
it
for
says here.
subtlety.
It says, aside from the impressive Rogue utility package, Sub Rogue delivers consistent damage with great on-demand burst.
Yeah.
It says that the spec has no shortcomings apart from the fact that it does not compete with the best performing classes in terms of raw damage output. Um, but they said if they tune the hero talents or spec-specific talents correctly, then they'd be in great shape.
Yeah.
Outlaw. It is. The current Outlaw Rogue is quite underwhelming, as their damage profile is slightly on the lower on the lower end compared to the rest of the DPS specializations. While they retain their strong consistent damage, they're still target capped and have little to no mass AoE burst.
Yeah.
Um,
Ella's in a bad spot.
yeah, yeah, that's why they've got it very, very low. But yeah, no, I think Assassination, I think, will perform better as you do higher keys. I really do, because I think just the way you've described how it works, it sounds like it's based so much around bleed damage,
Yeah.
right?
It's been that way for a while now, but yeah, it's the playstyle is not not a single talent has changed.
Yeah.
Actually no, there's one talent changed. Are you familiar with the Bone Spike from Shadowlands?
No.
Where you could like, it's like another bleed you can put on, and it never runs off. It stays up there permanently while they're in combat. It's a minor bleed, but they put it in, they baked in with rupture. So when you put rupture on, it automatically puts a bone spike on.
Gotcha.
It's a little bleed. I don't know if it's going to be taken. It might be for raiding, for assassination, for a single target. I don't know. I did mention that I do think assassination is not. It could be better, but I do agree with, like, if you're doing tens or higher, assassination should be okay. Um, yeah, I I don't know. I was gonna, like, I always try and, the three tunes I mainly play, I try to at least have at least one caster and one melee at least. As far as casters go, I don't know. I thought about elemental. I don't know,
Yeah.
because I mean elemental looks fun. I think it has a solid bot in groups now with the raid buff. I think it's a strong buff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because it sucks that dev is doing so bad. Cause I don't mind augmentation, but I prefer dev, and augmentation is it's just so much better. It has been since it's been released, you know. Like, why play dev or bring a dev when you can bring an augie, you know?
Right. Yeah.
It just kind of sucks for, like, that, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of similar for just about any class, though. You've got typically you're not going to see more than one spec as far as like a raid goes, because
Yeah,
they're just going to take the top spec for raiding to get the buff.
yeah.
Havoc so far, it looks like according to this is underwhelming
Under
in Mythic Plus.
That's what I was
Um,
telling you, yeah, earlier
yeah,
when
they
I was
said
watching
though this
Jedith.
spec is one of the few classes that did not receive any major outside of hero talents, didn't receive any major tuning or changes, which
Yeah,
leads us to believe that surely something will come out for them too. Although I don't think there will. I honestly don't think there will be anything.
yeah,
Um, but I think they might have some tuning. That's about it. I don't see there being a whole bunch of changes because we just got a rework for Demon Hunters just like less than a year ago. So I don't expect to see a whole bunch of changes.
yeah.
I do
I
think
know.
Vengeance is in a good spot though.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it came to my mind again. When we did a podcast, I don't know how long ago it was, month and a half, 2 months, I don't know. We were talking about hero talents for warlocks, and I did mention that I would like to try affliction and high keys. I thought that'd be strong, and I guess on the list it looks like it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like affliction and destro. I'm not a big fan of demonology, but I think caster wise, I mean, depending on how mages look, I might play a mage, because I've played mage a long time, and it's a fun class. But I don't expect, there's no way Arcane goes live the way it is right now. There's no way. It's just
Yeah, no,
damage.
I agree. I think it'll be absolutely nerfed because it
It should be
is.
gutted. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a difference between being the strongest and being a
And
mile ahead of everybody. And
yeah,
right now
and
they're
which
a
they
mile ahead
are.
of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like Fire Mage after augmentation came out, where they were
Yeah.
Fire Mage DPS like tripled with augmentation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I like.
Vengeance, I disagree very strongly with their Vengeance review because they're saying that Vengeance is like the second to worst tank, and I think it's going to be the strongest or second strongest tank for Mythic Plus.
Oh yeah. Like I was telling you, like the other day, Yoda was playing his Demon Hunter, and he's like easily Demon Hunter, Blood DK, best tanks right now.
Yeah.
That being said, I did do a dungeon with a Blood DK that doesn't know how to play, and he got deleted every single pack. And our healer's like, you are not clicking buttons, and then just left the group.
Yeah, I
If
mean, you
he, like
have
he
to
didn't,
heal. Blood decays are extremely squishy, so they have to be constantly healing themselves, which will then
and
put
he
an
was,
absorb shield on them as well and make them a lot tankier.
yeah, he wasn't keeping Bone Shield up ever.
Ooh,
So like I think someone blinked the whatever, and he didn't click Bone Shield once.
yikes.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just
that's yeah. You have to be using
yeah.
Morrowind and keep your bone shield up. So yeah,
Hmm.
no, what they say about Vengeance is the changes to Vengeance have been quite disappointing, which I disagree with. The fact that there were no changes, I think, is excellent because we're in such a good spot anyway.
Yeah.
They'll lose their great tier set, yeah, but everyone's losing their great tier set, and nobody's getting that great of a tier set. All the tier sets for season one are kind of meh. That's normal.
Yeah.
um, says that we'll lose their illuminated sigils incredible utility. No, we didn't. We haven't lost that talent. What are they talking about?
So yeah, I know. Like I see like their what they're getting at the tier list, but I do disagree with some things. I definitely don't think Assassination Celti are better than Windwalker or Ret Pally for that matter. Um, I don't think they're bottom, but I don't think they're better than like than a Paladin or a
Yeah,
Marksman.
I'm trying to see because I did not see anything being changed with our illuminated sigils going away. So I don't think they're. I think they got that wrong there.
Yeah.
Because last I checked, we still have that.
Yeah. I think um
Oh, it
I
is
th-
gone.
I think
When
if
did they
we're
change that?
on the topic when we talking about mages, I think Arcane obviously broken, Fire Mage really good. I've always enjoyed playing Frost too, but I think it just is not it's just not there, you know? 'Cause you can't it's just not as good as Fire or Arcane, obviously. But I don't know, I've always played all three specs. So if I were to play Mage, it doesn't matter what spec's the best, I'd play it. And that being said, like Arcane, they could definitely nerf it and keep it really good, you know? Like they don't have to completely gut it. They just need to figure out like that fine line, you know?
Okay, so yeah, with that illuminated sigil talent being gone, Vengeance does drop down a ton.
Oh,
Cause
really? It's
that
gone? What is that ability?
so it what it does is it gives us a second charge of all of our sigils, which is excellent.
Hmm.
Especially for like CC. That's what people complained about. So I understand if they wanted to get rid of the actually no, that's not even that one. That's not that one. That is but the talent for all that is also gone unless hang on, let me look at the calculator because that's what I'm not seeing here. Oh no, we still have it. What the heck are they talking about? We still have illuminated sigils. Okay, never mind. They don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, what I was looking at, it wasn't showing it because they had selected the other talents. Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. Um, because yeah, it definitely seems like we still have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely still there. So they're having no idea what they're talking about. Anyway, yeah, no. So Vengeance should still be top tank.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah, I
weird that
think
that's weird that they're like, they've lost this talent. No, they haven't. It's right there. It's literally their only reason for why Vengeance is not good. And
yeah. I
yeah.
think I know this is kind of like out of the blue. I've been just thinking about looking at this, reading some of the notes here, or this thing you linked me. I
Right.
think I still think I'm gonna play my Death Knight, but I do think I might lean towards playing the Fire Mage as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, or Arcane. I mean, whatever's better when it goes live, but I think Fire will probably be better if they nerf Arcane. It just depends on how much. But yeah, it's kind of nice for Frost because it's like it's looking really positive. Like
Yeah,
I don't
Frosty
know,
K.
like
I think Frosty K is looking pretty good from what we've seen.
yes, they have a great talents, new talents. Um, I think dual wielding's better now, to be honest, which is cool.
Yeah,
It's been a
I've
while.
heard that a few times, so that could be
Well, because there's a talent that when you crit with a melee weapon, it does like an AoE. So if you have two weapons and you're critting, then it's like it crit more often. It's just more passive AoE. So but look at this list. They're saying Frost UK's #1 melee, which is pretty cool. It's definitely when I was watching Crit Cake play, and he's one of the best warriors in the world for sure.
yeah.
And he was neck and neck with a Frost DK I've never heard of. But I'm not saying he couldn't wasn't a good DK. I couldn't find his stream. I wanted to watch his point of view, but he was doing like the same damage as Crit Cake, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Unholy did get a little bit of nerfs, but from what I did test it, what people are saying, Unholy is still very good too. So
Yeah. Now I think from a tanking perspective, I think it's going to be Blood DK and Vengeance.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to look in the beta and see about that talent because, like I said, I'm looking at the talent calculators on Wowhead. That talent is still there for Vengeance, Illuminated Sigils. I've not heard anything or seen anywhere where that is going away, so I don't understand why they're saying that's going away.
yeah,
The reason I was concerned by that, I don't even care if they want to take away like the charge that gives us the all of our sigils, the extra cola, which I don't even know if that talent gives us that. Um, they took away our charges. Okay, so all it does is it takes away the additional charges of all of our sigils, because that's what that talent did before. Was all of our sigils had an extra charge. Now it's just Sigil of Flame has a charge.
mm,
That's not an issue at all.
yeah,
The thing I was concerned with, because I'm totally fine if they want to take away the extra charge of our CC, whatever, not a big deal.
yeah,
I would prefer to have it, but whatever. My concern was that that talent gives you a 15% increased chance to parry attacks whenever enemies are afflicted with Sigil of Flame. That's a huge defensive ability for us, and what made us so much more durable and not have to kite every 30 seconds. Because
yeah,
the issue with Vengeance for the longest time is we don't have enough active mitigation to have 100% uptime, and we have to kite because once you lose your mitigation, you are dead in 2 hits. Like we are as durable as a DPS. Um,
yeah.
so like
So
losing that would have been huge. So that's why I was very confused why that would be go away. But yeah, no, it looks like they just changed it from being all sigils to being just Sigil of Flame has an extra charge, which is totally fine. That honestly does not matter in my opinion.
so I have a question.
What?
Are you gonna play any other tanks other than Vengeance as an alt?
I mean at some point probably. I don't know
Do you know which one
exactly.
you would?
Nah.
Are
It would
you just kind of gonna wait for tuning?
I mean right now I'm thinking my alt would be a discipline priest, honestly. Like
Yeah,
that's what I've been enjoying.
yeah.
Um So yeah, I don't know that I would really be changing anything or be playing another tank yet. If I did, I don't know, it'd probably be either Brewmaster or Prop Pally. One of those two.
Mhm.
Those are usually my favorites to play. I'm still
Yeah.
not like huge on Blood DKs. Guardian Druid is fine, but it gets really boring so fast because it's so simple to play.
Yeah.
And I've never been big on Prot Warrior. It's not
So
bad, but I've just never been big on it.
I think I heard that people are putting Brewmaster's one of the worst tanks, I heard, with
Oh
Warrior.
yeah, no, that's been the way for Mythic Plus at least. Brewmaster's terrible. Brewmaster might still be good. I don't know for sure. They might still be decent for like rating because progression is where they really shine. Because
Yeah.
they're the whole thing with Brewmaster is they are designed
A
to,
stagger, right?
yeah, this the way stagger works is it basically means you're never going to take a giant chunk of damage. Um, so like the big one-shot hits that could normally kill a tank that's not fully geared won't kill a Brewmaster. You have it gets
Yeah.
split up and becomes damage over time.
Yeah.
However, when you go to Mythic Plus, that type of defensive of mechanism is the worst thing imaginable because
Yeah.
you're not splitting up damage, you're just constantly taking damage even when you're not under attack, and you're constantly getting new attacks, and you just don't have great ways to mitigate that. Brewmaster, for at least for Dragonfly, has had one of the highest offensive profiles of any of the tanks. They've got great damage, but one of the worst, if not the worst, defensive capabilities, because you literally have to play perfectly to
Yeah.
handle higher keys. That's
Yeah.
one thing they've really, really struggled with, and it's just the stagger ability just doesn't work well with Mythic Plus. It really is a
Yeah.
bad mechanic for Mythic Plus. Excellent
I
for progression rating, but Mythic Plus it's terrible in.
I could be wrong. I'm trying to think back. Watching Yoda, I think he was talking to his chat and said that Pally was like third in the list or something. I was like, oh yeah, that's nice. Cause Buck likes Pally, and yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
Prop
I don't
Pally. I
know.
mean,
I could be wrong. I think he said it was third.
it probably is going to be up there. Um, the big thing,
Has so
this is
many
why
kicks.
Vengeance was number one. Yeah, that's all the interrupts is going to keep it near the top, even if its damage is less.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing with Vengeance. Vengeance can keep up with damage, can keep up with Brewmaster. So it wasn't. I would say it was second high most damage. Defensively, I think Guardian probably has the highest defensive capabilities,
Yeah.
and Blood DK has like the highest self-sustain abilities. But Demon Hunter with the new sigil talent that made the 15% increased parry, you go a full crit build, and now Vengeance is the second best defensive capability and the second best self-healing capability. So it's second best offense, it's second best defense, and then you gave it all the CC it had, and I mean, nothing even comes close to CC. Like, even Prop Pally. Prop Pally has amazing CC, doesn't even come close to Vengeance.
Yeah.
So that's why Vengeance has been number one for the last two seasons, because while everything offensively and defensively, there is at least one other class that can do it better. We're second place in all those, and then you put us also being the top CC ability. It was just nobody was close to us as far as min-maxing type stuff. Now,
Yeah.
that's not to say that other tanks couldn't do just as well as Vengeance. Prop Pally's performed very well. Blood DK's performed very well near the end of the fourth season, I think. Middle of the
Yeah.
fourth season, they started performing very well. So, like, other tanks are still very, very capable. It's just Vengeance is the top one. As they should
Right.
be,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean,
I'm a little biased, but, you know.
I think the fantasy of the Demon Hunter class is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I just love like the story, the lore to did I say Death Knight's my Demon Hunters? Sorry.
They said Demon
Uh,
Hunter.
oh, I did. Okay, I
Yeah.
went back and was like, did I say Death Knights? No, Death Knights are cool too. But I think when it came out in Legion, I was playing a Demon Hunter like a lot of people. It was doing that the opening quest zone was so cool.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I
I
think
love speedrunning that zone.
fantasy wise, I thought Demon Hunters were really cool. I think they hit it like out of the park with like the different metamorphoses for Havoc and Vengeance. I think they're both really cool looking, and like the Infernal Leap and the Fell Rush and stuff, like how it's a little different for each spec too is cool.
Right, right.
I this is kind of touching back on before, but just bring this up because I was thinking about it when you're talking. I didn't want to interrupt, but I think one thing that's not good for Brewmaster for monks is the change to the class tree.
Yeah.
Because when we went through it, they changed like everything to like just basically mobility. That's all it is now.
Yes. Which
And
is
I think that
fine.
kind of hurt Brewmaster
Um,
a little bit.
yeah, so we had a few issues because there are two talents that Brewmaster would always take. that involved expel harm. One increased its critical healing by 50%. The other one increased the amount of healing based off how much missing health you had. And before, you could take both those talents because they were in separate spots. With War Within, they've made that a choice. They've combined those two into one choice node, so you can only take one or the other. Which, when you're already a class that is struggling defensively, taking away more of your defensive abilities. Like, we lost a lot of defensive abilities with the class changes on the class tree. The spec tree has changed a little bit. I was actually looking at it yesterday.
Okay.
It doesn't make up for what we lost in the class tree, but I do think they did move a couple things over, and they've got some different variations on stuff over there. But I mean, overall, it's still just not great. It really, you could change the talent trees as much as you want. It's just, I don't think for Brewmaster, unless they have drastic changes to the talent trees, I don't think Brewmaster is ever going to be good for Mythic Plus unless they completely redo the way Stagger works. The way that the mechanic is set up you're still getting 100. So here's every other tank mitigates damage. So if I have, all my stuff up, I just say 50% of that damage I'm not taking. So you hit me for 1 million, I'm only taking 500,000 damage, and that's the end of it. The way Brewmaster works is Brewmaster, you get hit for 1 million, instead of saying I'm mitigating 500,000, it says, okay, I'm going to take 500,000 now, but then I'm going to take another 500,000 over the next 12 seconds. So you're not mitigating anything at all. So you're taking more damage than any other tank. But then, which again, like in Raid, it works, because in Raid, you say, okay, I'm going to hit you for 1 million. Other tanks say, here's mitigation, you only hit me for 500k. Brewmaster says, you only hit me for 500k, and I'll take the other 500k over the next 12 seconds. But you're not taking that much damage over those 12 seconds. And Mythic Plus, you're not taking giant... Constant. Yeah, in Mythic Plus, you're not taking giant hits. You're just constantly taking hits. So if over 30 seconds as a Vengeance Demon Hunter, if over 30 seconds you're taking 30 million damage, we only take 15 million because we're mitigating half of it, and that's the end of it. Over a Brewmaster, over those same 30 seconds, you're taking the full 30 million because you're not mitigating, you're just putting it off until later. But what's happening is you're putting it off until later, and then you're still taking new damage that's just as bad, and so it doesn't end. Now you can use, like, your Purifying Brew will help get rid of some of the stagger stuff, but it's nowhere near that's like that's their form of mitigation. When you use Purifying Brew, it basically a certain percentage of whatever stagger damage is built up will just go away, but it's not nearly as high as what all the other tanks have. So they have a lower active mitigation than any other tank out there.
Okay.
So it's just, they're almost like a glass cannon of tanks because they do so much damage, but they can die so easily. They're fun to play offensively. Like, I love the play style offensively.
I like the visuals.
Yeah, I do think with Bone Dust Brew going away, I think that hurts Brewmaster a lot because Bone Dust Brew is very, very big for their damage output. So I don't know if their damage output is even going to be anywhere near as strong as it was now. So now, I mean, with Bone Dust Brew gone, I think their damage drops and they're still terrible survivability. So I think that's a big issue. I do think they're probably in last place in my opinion. And like, I would... Seriously, this is what I always have. I see a lot of people that play Brewmaster that, like, their reaction is, man, you need to fix Brewmaster and you need to nerf Vengeance. Why do you need to nerf Vengeance? Like, I'm 100% on board. Let's buff Brewmaster. Let's fix Brewmaster. But, like, just because it's always a pet peeve with me. People, like, and you know this, if your class is underperforming, I totally get it that you want it to change. I don't understand why you're hating on classes that are performing well. That's what I've never understood. Like stuff like Arcane Mage right now, it's not even a hate. Like, I'm totally fine. I would love to see Arcane Mage be the top spec. It's just that there's such a wide gap right now. That's the issue. It is completely broken. It's doing
Yes. Yeah.
so much more damage. There's nothing wrong with it being the top damage. I'm
Nope.
totally fine
Yep.
with that. But it's like doubling damage of other classes. So
Yeah.
it's too strong.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a difference between like I don't know, like the people that are hating on Vengeance with the CC and stuff. Like I don't know. It was annoying that they're like, oh, they need to nerf Vengeance. Vengeance is so strong. Vengeance, offensively and defensively, we had other tanks that were stronger than us. The
Yeah.
only thing was our CC. We had so much CC. That's really the only reason that we were the top tank. That and then we
Yeah.
were in a good middle spot. But people were like, they need to be nerfed. They need to take more damage. They need to do less damage. That wasn't ever the issue. Again, like there are other tanks that do more damage and there are other tanks that can take more damage than us and be fine. It was that we were in the middle for both of those, and then you also had all the CC you had, and you combine it all together, that made us the top tank. Um, and it looks like from what I'm seeing, it looks like they've taken away our CC, so we should be back to. I th- I think we'll still be a top 2 tank, top 3 tank, because even without the CC, um, as long as we still have the defensive buff from Sigil of Flame, that was the. To me, everyone was saying that the whole having all the CC was, oh, CC made Demon Hunter so much stronger. That didn't. The big difference was having the 15% parry from Sigil of Flame, because that is a huge for us defensively. It now puts us on par with the other tanks defensively, because no other tank had to run away every 30 seconds and just try not to
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
We now have the ability to just sit there and fight, and which it was a twofold double-edged sword for us, because as a Vengeance, your survivability is based off of your self healing is a large part of it. But in order to self heal, you have to do damage. So if you have no mitigation and have to run away, you now have no mitigation and you're not self healing
Yeah.
because you can't do any damage. So it's just like, what are we supposed to do? Um, but no, I'm happy. I think Vengeance will be in a good spot, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I'm looking
It's.
forward to
I think
playing it.
it's. I think it's in a good place. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I
I don't think it's
definitely.
overpowered. But I don't see it getting nerfed.
Yeah,
I.
the change to the CC, I definitely would have preferred, just on a personal level, I would have loved to have seen them just give all the other tanks a lot more CC, because
Yeah.
personally I prefer playing the game whenever I have all the CC, because let me tell you, one thing that a lot of DPS do not like to do is use their interrupts or use their stuns. They just want to
Yeah.
sit there and pew pew. Um, so I understand at top level, like, yeah, it kind of sucked that Demon Hunter had so much CC, because at top level, yes, you're gonna have people doing that. But man, in Pugs, I'm watching people go the entire key without using a single interrupt or a single stun, and then you
Mm.
want to sit and complain that I have too much CC. No, I need that CC because no one else is doing it. like,
Yeah.
I think that tanks, because tanks are the ones that are going to decide how much to pull, which is what's going to decide how much CC you need. Like, sure, if no one's CCing, I can just pull 1 pack at a time, and nobody CCs, it's not an issue. But if we want to pull 2-3 packs at a time, CC has to happen. People have to rotate stuns. People have to do that stuff. So when nobody's doing that, and I don't want to be limited, so it's great as a Vengeance that I had 7 stops that I could use on a single pull, and I could just lock down everything. It was great. And I would love to.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun, in my opinion, to be able to do that, because I wasn't limited by other people's essentially laziness to not use their CC.
Right.
But now we've lost that, so we don't have that CC, but we still have all of our defensive and stuff. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what else you got?
Um. Healers. Have you heard anything about healers?
I have not. I'm actually just about to look that up though.
While you go into that, I'm just going to talk about some mage nerfs real quick.
Go for it.
So,
Arcane Mage, 35% across
yes.
the board nerf.
Arcane Mage, the high voltage base chance is from proccing went from 20% to 10%, and the chance per failure, whatever that means, was increased 10%, was 5. Other attunement, the damage bonus was decreased to 100% on primary targets and 50% on secondary. It was previously 150 and 100, so slight nerf to their AOE, which is fine, so it's really good. There was they fixed an issue that's Then they nerfed Arcane Blast by 5%, Arcane Missile by 5%, Arcane Barrage by 10%. Those are the nerfs. Um, those are live, and Arcane Mages are still number one. I think the issue with Mages right now, Arcane, its AoE is great. If it gets really good procs and stuff, it's great. Other classes are doing fine AoE with them as well, like our Survival and Fury can't compete with their AoE. But it's their single target burst damage just is crazy. And then before I go back to you, Buck, they slightly buff Frost Mages a little bit. Nothing huge. Just some small buffs.
Right. So you asked about healing.
Yes, can you like it to me
this
as well?
is just based off their. It should be a there's a tab for it on the same page I linked to earlier.
Oh, okay, I'll look
Um,
for it.
this is based off what Icy Veins has. I don't know that I necessarily agree with it,
Oh,
but
I see it.
one thing I do like is so all the other tier lists have had like best choice, excellent choice, good choice, bad choice, whatever.
Yeah,
There's no good
they're all
choice.
excellent.
They're all excellent or higher except for Preservation Evoker. Preservation Evoker looks like maybe it's struggling, but I don't
Yeah,
know that's any different than it is now, honestly. Um,
yeah,
they list Holy Pally and Mistweaver Monk as the best, with Holy Priest, Resto Shaman, Discipline Priest, and Resto Druid as all excellent choices. I don't know
that's
enough
good.
about
That's
the
good.
healings, but yeah, I definitely think they should have lots of good healing.
I think.
Especially because I know they've talked about they want to remove a lot of self healing from people, and they've already done some tuning and changes. They want to get rid of certain defensives and make us weaker out
Yeah,
and require more healing from healers, which I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that approach, but um,
I
is
I
what it
think
is.
I think I Holy Pally got a slight rework a week or two ago.
Yeah, I
I
think you're
saw
right.
somewhere. Maybe in 3 weeks actually. All I know is they did get a talent. Kind of the talent got some attention, and they got some stuff changed around.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool because Holy Pally wasn't the best this last couple seasons, were they? It was like mostly what Disc
Yeah, no.
and
Holy
Resto
Pally
Druids
was very strong, I think, in season
early.
2 or
Yeah,
maybe season 1, and then they kind of fell off after a while.
yeah, yeah.
It's been really
Because
Resto Druid and Disc Priest almost the
yeah,
entire season 2 to
see,
season 4. It's
yeah,
been those two really. Um,
that's cool. Maybe we can convince Jared to come back by some monk.
yeah, Mistweaver. I always like seeing Mistweaver up there because I really do feel like Mistweaver has typically had extremely strong healing. It's just not a
Yes.
popular. It's not a popular spec to play. So I don't know if it's because it's complicated or what, but I feel like Mistweaver
I don't
monks,
know.
and I don't. It's not as much of an issue anymore. But what I always have noticed in the past couple of expansions, and at the start of this expansion, was essentially Mistweaver Monk had the strongest healing I've seen out of any healer, but would blow through mana very quickly.
Yes.
And I think the mana
Yeah.
issue has changed a bit. I don't think it's as bad as it was, but I also don't think they're quite as strong on the healing front as they were. But they're still pretty strong.
They do bring some good utility with stun, paralysis, and group wide AoE cleanse with their revival. They have life cocoon. They have kick? I don't know if they
Yeah, they
do.
do.
I know how.
They can
Okay.
they can choose it. I think oh, what class
They
is it?
come with Mystic Touch as well.
There's only one healing class that cannot kick. And it's the only
That
class. It's the only spec in the whole game that does not have a kick. I can't remember which one it is. I want to say it's Resto Druid, but I feel like Resto Druid can choose a kick.
I don't know if Druids can kick. I didn't think Evokers could kick either.
No,
Maybe they could.
Evokers have a kick. They should have the same kick that Devastation has.
Oh, okay.
I just don't think you can reduce the cooldown on it.
I think Monk might be really good, but I think they kind of lost in the class tree as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I think that mobility is not as key as it is for like Windwalker,
Right.
and so much of those last choice nodes in the class tree have to do with your mobility. I mean, it's great for PvP, It might be good for PvE. I don't know. I don't know how Mistweavers look at that class tree. I don't know.
But yeah, no, I mean, again, it's tier list. Always take it with a grain of salt. It's just one person's
Yeah.
opinion, so
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, nobody will. The only real tier list will be once the rankings come out, and we're a couple
Yeah.
weeks in, and even then, that'll
Yeah.
change a lot. I know people have complained about the balancing, but I don't think the balancing has been that bad from a PvE
No.
perspective, at least in the last couple expansions. I think Dragonflight, I personally felt that they've done a pretty good job of balancing. I mean, there's been some issues, like when Augie came out, that was a big issue that whole season.
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't know. I think people look too much at a specific season to season, like, oh, this class was terrible this whole season, or oh, this class was the best the whole season. I look at an expansion level because, I mean, Shadowlands, freaking Blood DKs were like the top tank almost the entire expansion without ever changing. I think Shadow Priest got that this expansion kind of, and
Yes.
Fire Mage.
They did. Yeah.
I don't. The only critique. It's the only criticism I would give is I don't know who at Blizzard it is that plays a Fire Mage, but boy, they are. I'm guessing Ian Hazzikostas plays Fire Mage because Fire Mage has been top DPS for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, not just oh, one of the best. It's been the top, like the number one DPS for years, and that's the only thing that doesn't ever seem to be balanced. But I mean, I think a
So
lot of that is also because just the way fire works, it's just always going to be strong no matter what.
yeah. So the Fire Mage is really good. Shadow Priest is really good. I do think Shadow Priest does more damage because, like, when I watch those top mages play, they usually get beat by Shadow Priest. It's close, but usually the Shadow Priest will do more.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're like neck and neck, you know.
No, is that Mythic Plus or in single?
That's Mythic. That's Mythic
Okay.
Plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
I
single
mean,
target. I think Fire's better, but
yeah.
I think I don't know. I see Shadow Priest typically doing more, but not by much.
Yeah, I mean on the tier list ranking, it is Arcane and then Fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's whatever. As long as Fire Mage is no longer yellow. Oh, I don't have any cooldowns. Wait 45 seconds before you
True.
pull from my cooldowns. Shut up. I hate that.
It's in a lot better position now.
Yes,
I
yeah.
didn't like that combustion playing around combustion playstyle in your SKB, which is the combustion proc.
Right.
Um, with playing, I haven't tried Sun Fury yet, to be honest. That's a really cool looking one, but Frostfire on the beta was really strong. Like you don't you do not cast like ever.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's just always be able to move. 'Cause everything's instant cast. You have combustion so often.
Yeah. It sounds like it'd be a
It's
lot of fun.
nice. Yeah, I'm
I just
definitely gonna
I
try it out
I just developed such a hatred of fire mages back from
from
Shadowlands whenever it
Shadowlands.
was
Yeah,
like a 2 minute cooldown and they did 90% of their damage during that cooldown phase. And
yeah,
I mean, you literally, every fire mage I had would literally, they'd pop combustion, do damage, and then be like, wait 45 seconds before your next pull so I can get my combustion back. No, I'm not gonna,
yeah,
no, that's not what you
yeah.
do.
It's dumb. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, sorry, buddy, it's not all about you. But no, I think that's about it for me. You got anything else?
No, I'm just looking forward to pre-patch and the early release and really level up a bunch of tunes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep, I think leveling should be pretty quickly. I think we're targeting under 30 hours. We'll know tomorrow night. We'll have a much better idea of what we're looking at because tomorrow night we should be able
Yeah.
to do a full test run, and that'll give us a really good idea of where we're sitting time
Yeah.
wise. Um, I think the first 4 levels should be about 50 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes probably. And then after that, I haven't been able to do a full on test. I did the second zone and it took me about an hour, but as I was looking over stuff this morning, I think we're going to be cutting out a few quest lines that I did during that test run. So I think honestly that'll cut down the second zone by about 10 minutes probably. Because we just
Okay.
don't need it. We don't need the XP. We should. I was
Yeah.
going a little bit past 76, and then I realized that we actually need to stop right before 76, because once you hit 76, there's no point in staying there because it doesn't. There's no increase in XP. It doesn't go down, but there's no increase. So we want to basically finish the main campaign right before we hit 76, and then move on to Hollow Fall and start Hollow Fall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's gonna take. I think it's gonna save about 10 minutes, 15 minutes in Ringing Deeps, and then we'll do Hollow Fall. It took me about an hour as well, but that was my very first actual like testing out a route and seeing stuff. So I think Hollow Fall will be about 45 minutes. I think it's 45 minutes for each of the first 3 zones. Honestly, is I think what we're looking at, which would put
Okay.
us at 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we should be roughly only a level and a half away from max level. So basically that
Yeah.
gives us 45 more minutes to get that last level and a half, which I don't think will be hard to do.
Yeah.
So I think 3 hours should be very, very doable for sure. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a full test run and being able to figure out exactly how much. I think mobs are giving a lot more XP than they were in Dragonflight as well. Because what I've noticed is that it seems like mobs are making up about 20 to 22% of the XP, whereas in Dragonflight they was only making up about 12 to 13%. So that's just
Okay.
passively giving more XP, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure.
But yep, I think that is it for me. So if you've got any comments, anything, any questions, whatever, feel free to hit me up at any of my channels at the top of the screen there. We got Twitch. I'm at twitch.tv/buckblind. Twitter is at buckblinddh, and YouTube is buckblind the demon hunter. And Qwertzx, what are yours?
My YouTube is now, it's kept the QQ underscore from the Bioshock, but it's QQ underscore Qwertzx with the QWERTZX. That's for my Twitch, and I believe my YouTube's the same now.
Yes.
I think my YouTube's just Qwertzx, the ZX, yeah.
There we go. So that is it.
Yep.
How the new guy do? Let us know. We'll
Can't
see
believe
if
it's a Cowboys fan.
we keep him or not. We'll see. Maybe next week we'll get someone else in here. Who knows? um, anyway, y'all have a good one, and we will see you next time.
Later.